Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who has popped in because you were curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chatty, this is my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I am going to be chatting away madly about what I might be reading in June. If you have popped into my channel before, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back to join me. I love doing this game every month, generally. And if you are new here, do not worry, I will explain the rules if you are confused. But firstly, I need to do my little gimmick because on this channel for my long videos, I do not edit. It's one continuous shot and I only have the power of pause to help me. This is the second take because I decided I was just going to go through and just carry on with the waffle, but it got far too waffly and I was like, no, I just need to redo it. It's just making no sense whatsoever. And it's mainly me laughing at the camera, which just isn't that entertaining. So we're on take 2, but let's see if I can keep going this time. Cheers, everyone. Get your tiny teacup of choice and join me in a toast. It is one shot. There is no editing. Clink, 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 clink. Let's see if I can keep the waffle and the chaos to a minimum. I am feeling very indecisive at the moment, so I definitely need this to kind of help focus me and structure me, so we will see how we'll get on. I hope I'm going to be able to use the prompts well enough to select some titles. I just need a big gulp of tea there. Okay, brain functioning. This is good. So I have got some books I definitely want to read in June. I'm feeling like it's their moment. So there's a few things. I've got a couple of buddy reads that may be happening. And I want to carry on sort of with my series, and I've got a couple of non-fiction to talk about. So I've got a gist of things that could be happening in June. So much so that there's not a huge amount of wiggle room, but I still want to have that opportunity to kind of do a bit of mood reading, but I'm not just going to throw a mood read in there because I just feel overwhelmed by how much choice I have. I feel very fortunate to have this much choice. So I'm using the game to help narrow down like my final spot in my June TBR. So I'll go through the books I want to read first and talk you through those. And then we will go on to playing the game where I will do 6 rolls. And then from that, I will have a pile of possibilities in which to select my final book choice for June. And if it all goes well with my reading, I may end up reading 2. Or I may end up reading 0. It could all go horribly wrong. Who knows? We will find out at some point. So the first book that I want to talk to you about that I am going to be reading in June is, the time has come. The time has come. I feel ready to reread Emma. I have not read a Jane Austen in such a long time. And we've been having some really lovely sunny days. And Emma has been calling to me. Emma has been calling to me to be read. And I I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm just going to have a wonderful time. Currently, it's raining. And that is not Emma weather. I don't want to read Emma in the rain. I want to read Emma in my garden amongst the grass and plants. And, you know, maybe have a jam scone and be very civilized. So that's my plan. I definitely want to read Emma. I feel that Emma is kind of like my top book that I want to read in June. It just feels like the right moment. Another book that I want to read in June, which kind of depends on whether or not I finish this book in May, is Dawnsharde by Brandon Sanderson. This is a novella. It is Stormlight novella 3.5, a Stormlight book 3.5. And I am currently rereading Oathbringer. I have barely started, but I intend to finish it in May. I have been waiting to do this reread for such a long time. I'm very excited about doing the reread. But obviously Oathbringer is massive, it's so big. It may not happen. But Dawnsharde is so tiny that if I do end up carrying Oathbringer into June and reading Oathbringer in June as well, I'm sure I can slip Dawnsharde in at the end. Dawnsharde will not be a reread. It will be the first time I have read it. And it will be my first new Stormlight Archive book that I've read in such a long time. And then hopefully after that I can finally pick up Rhythm of War, which I have been excited about for about 4 years and still haven't read. Okay, now I have some buddy reads, which I'm just going to shuffle off camera here and pick up because they're out of reach. And there we go. I have those. I might as well grab the other books whilst I'm here. There we are. just when I think I've set it up and I realise, actually, I can't stretch that far. Right, buddy reads first. So this is a book that is set in stone. The rest is a bit more wishy-washy. It's my final book that I'm definitely reading in June. I am doing a buddy read with some people in the middle grade Mad Chat, which is my Discord, which I will link in the description box. If you enjoy a middle grade and want to chat to other people who also enjoy reading middle grades, then pop into that. So myself, Tallia from Bandana Book Mum, Kelli from Kelli Reads a Lot. I did remember your channel name this time, Kelli, yay! And Stacy, we have been very much enjoying the first Pages & Co. book by Anna James, which was Tilly and the Book Wanderers. This is called Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales, and it's the second book in the series, and we are going to be buddy reading it this month, and I'm very, very excited because I really loved the first book, so I can't wait to get back into this cozy little world and hang out with some characters who love a good book. My slightly more up in the air buddy read, it basically depends if we finish our current one. Also, one of my buddy reads is going through some very exciting life changes, so we're just going to put it on hold and see what happens. But I read my Fairy Loot book box books with both Vadania from Vadania Silver Scribe and Cloe from Phantom of the Pages. And the next book we want to pick up is Threads That Bind. I can't read because it's so shiny, by Kika Hatsopoulou. Apologies if I have butchered that name. This is using Greek mythology, but it's not a Greek retelling, it's an urban fantasy, and it is about the three fates, the Moria. I really love the Moria. I find them really fascinating. I love this whole concept of someone being the measurer, someone being the cutter, and someone being the spinner, and having like people's lives and fate in their hands. I think it's really cool. And also, if you have seen the Disney movie Hercules and you love the three crones sharing the eye, they're some of my favourites. Then also my obsession with them. Not an obsession, an interest in the Moria. I do not know enough about them to say I have an obsession. I have an interest in the Moria. So I'm really, really, really excited for this book. And the next book is coming out, so we're deciding whether or not we want to order it from Fairy Loot, and it might help if we'd actually read the first one, wouldn't it? That would be sensible. I'd kind of been putting it off because it was one of the Fairy Loot books that I'm really, really excited for, just because I think the synopsis sounds amazing, but we're going to go for it. Depending on whether we're all at the same reading stage, because it's nice, we'll wait for each other, we'll see what happens. So possibly this one. I then want to read a non-fiction. I may still be continuing with my non-fiction of They, She, He by Shyla Baylor, because it's still quite a chunky book and I don't want to rush it. I'm taking my time with it. But if I do get that one finished, I will either be picking up Beyond Magenta, which is Transgender Teens Speaking Out. This is a collection of interviews by transgender teens accompanied with photographs. And this is one of the banned books that I want to be reading this year for MJ's Banned Book Challenge. If you're not sure what that is, I will leave a link here for MJ's video. Go check it out. So I've only read one banned book so far. I may have read more but not been aware that they were banned, but specifically searching and reading banned books, I've only read one. And I want to do a specific video about the banned book that I read, and I intend to do 6. We're halfway through the year and I've done 1. So kind of need to crack on with this if I want to hit my goal of 6. So I would like to read this one, but we will see what happens. I've got it at the library. I kind of need to give it back. So I think I've only got 1 renewal left in it. So really should crack on with this one. But also out of the library, I have Gender Games by Juno Dawson. And I really want to read this one as well. And this is also one of the books I need to read before August because it's one of my magical readathon prompts. So possibly one of these as well. We will see. I also want to be continuing with my series. So I've got all my backlog of old series that I'm kind of chipping away at, but I really want to be focusing on the 3 series that you all voted for that I should start and finish this year. So they're all completed. If you're not sure what that is, I'll leave a link here for that video where I talk about that. And the ones that were chosen were the Celestial, the Celestial, no, is it just called the Celestial Duology? I think it's just called the Celestial Duology. Something to do with Celestials anyway, and that is Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Tan. Yes, Su Lin Tan. I have read Daughter of the Moon Goddess now, so I could pick up the second one, Heart of the Sun Warrior, and then finish off that duology. Also, such a pretty book. Or I could start one of the other ones, and I might do that to mix it up, depending how I feel. Daughter of the Moon Goddess is very lyrical, it's very whimsical, it's very beautiful. There's a lot of mythology in it. And also it is a YA, so it's fast-paced. There's a lot of high-level emotions. I might decide I want something a little bit more slower paced, so I'll see how I feel sort of closer to the time. So my other options are Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. So I'm very intrigued by the magic system. I've heard brilliant things about this book. I think this one is a little bit grittier, a little bit more urban, so that will give me a different vibe there. And the final one is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Again, the David Bad trilogy. I have heard so many amazing things about the David Bad trilogy, and I really want to start and read it. I think this one does have a bit of a YA feel to it, in that it's quite fast paced. You've got some angst within the characters, but then I think it settles down and is slightly more a high fantasy epic. Anyway, it's a desert fantasy and I'm excited about that. So that's a possibility. So I'm not sure which one of those I'm going to continue, but it will be one of them. So far, my TBR is these 3 books, possibly this urban fantasy duology, another series fantasy, and then a non-fiction. So that's 6 books I already want to read, plus I'm possibly finishing off some for May. So there we go, that's what we've got already, but I want to be able to play the game, and I want to be able to have a little bit of a book where I haven't got any thoughts or goals or any kind of plan around, just a book I want to read. So that's the plan for the game. That's the plan for the game. I'm not going to overthink it, because I started going, oh, maybe I could choose 3 rereads and 3 new reads, or maybe I could choose 4 middle grades and 4 non-middle grades. It's like, no, shh, just pick books. Just pick books. And because I'm feeling so indecisive and all over the place, usually when I do my first roll, I give myself a choice of, there's 4 exits I could take for the first roll. And I could choose to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. I'm taking that choice away from myself as well. I am going to leave via the blue because it's at the top. So I'm going to leave by number 12 at the top, and I'm going to go in a clockwise direction. So let me tell you the rules of the game for those of you who do not know. If you already know, I do include timestamps in my videos. I also include the books I talk about, so if you want to know more about them, you can click on the story graph links, find out all about the trigger warnings, find out a better synopsis than ones that I give, and read from other people who have read the book and see what they think. Any booktubers I mentioned, I also put in the description box, and most importantly, as I said, timestamps. My videos are long. You probably want to skip around to find the bits you're actually interested in. So, the rules of the game. Welcome to the library. So my book game starts off on the floor. So that's the first level. And then we go up to the first shelf, which is the second square around the floor. And then we can also go to the second shelf, which is the third level. And as you may notice, I haven't finished colouring it in. So that always adds an amazing moment of confusion to the game. So I start off in that centre. Oh, where's my counter? Ta-da! Yes, I've done branding. So there is my Chatty the Mad Chatter teacup, and I will move around on the different colours. So the different colours have different prompts. You can also see that there are 2 thicker edges of the ladder there. That is the bottom of the ladder, which means we get to climb up it. And you can also see there is a worm there. The head of the worm means we go down it. The tail doesn't mean anything. Just like the thin end of the ladder, that doesn't mean anything either. That would be a colour. So for the first level on the floor, we roll 1 dice. But then if we go to the first shelf On the next level, we would roll 2 dice. There is no end point. I just use the board to move around to generate different prompts. I have a set of prompt cards that I used. Most of these are what I'd say like middle level prompt cards. So a little bit sort of tricky, but not too hard. I then have my worrying worm cards. So that's if I land on the head of a worm. And these are harder. So for example, in the prompt cards, I could get a prompt like, you have to read a book with either the author or the title's name beginning with a particular letter. With the worrying worm ones, it will specify if it's the author's name or the title of the book. So just gives that an extra level of difficulty. With the lucky ladder cards, so if I land on a ladder, then it gives me a lot more flexibility and a lot more free range. And within both of those cards, I have 2 super special ones. So I have the 1 ring card for the worrying worms. 1 ring to rule them all, inspired by Lord of the Rings. And this means that the first person in the chat, if I pull out this card, there's no point shouting out if I don't pull the card. So if I pull out this card, the first comment I get in the chat that says 1 ring gets to choose the book I read. And it can be any book. Obviously, if I really can't get hold of it, then I will let you know. But you can choose any book, and I need to be able to access it from my shelves or from the library. Or if I can get it cheaply from World of Books, that's fine. But yeah, any book, and I'll read that one. So you have the power. You have the power of the 1 ring. I will then pick 2 cards from this pile to accompany it. So I've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting it. And I'm picking these 2, putting it with the 1 ring and doing some extra shuffling. So we will pop those there where they are already and waiting. And the same with the lucky ladder. I have the Feagle card. Now this is inspired by the Nag McFeagles from Terry Pratchett's We Free Men. Feagles are good at drinking, fighting and stealing. Now when I hoard books, they go under my bed and I have to earn them by doing healthy things like going to bed early, taking my brain medication, doing exercises, eating fruit, yada, 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 yada. And then that accumulates points and then I earn a book. So if I get a Feagle, I get to steal one without having to do anything healthy. So that's exciting. Again, I'll pick 2 of these. I have no idea what they are. I'm just going to pick these 2 and mix it with the Feagle. And we'll put those there, ready. Okay, I then have different colour prompts that mean different things each month because it keeps it interesting. So we'll invite back everyone who already knows the rules so they can see what the colour prompts are for today's game. So welcome back everybody. The first prompt we have is the pink. Pink is 30-second prompt, which means I have 30 seconds to complete that prompt. If I don't, I have to pick another book. I mean, it doesn't really give me a lot of stakes when I'm not saying whether or not I have to read all of these books, but hey ho, we're just going to go with it. Green is Journey-a-thon bingo. For those who don't know, Journey-a-thon is a middle grade readathon that I do in July. And the points mean something. It's going to be our 2nd year this year. And I have allowed people, if they haven't done Journey-a-thon but want to get points, a bingo board in order to accumulate points because you will find out what they mean. So I will be using some of the prompts from that bingo board to help me choose my books. Genre roll is I have chosen 3 genres and I will roll the dice and we will see which ones come up. Theme card, I have a bunch of theme cards and it's something like, fire or royalty or magic, so I have to pick a book that gives me that vibe from the cover and the title. Okay, the little squares that I have next to each means that if I get this prompt twice in a row, if I get a 3rd time, then I will be picking up the Wonderland We're All Mad Here card, which is a slightly more challenging card just to keep things exciting. Okay, let's crack on with this and do our first roll. That is all of the wiffly waffly chat done. Okay, I'm going to pick a blue dice today. So we've got a blue dice that's going in here. Let's go. And we have 6, I believe. Yes, it's a 6. Okay, so let's move clockwise from blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was close. 5, 6. And it is blue. Blue is a theme card, so I feel like the game is letting me settle in nice and easy. Also, I think I had theme cards for the last 2 games and didn't get one, so that's quite nice actually. Right, what have we got? Oh, it's the one I said was an example of what theme cards are, which is pick a book with fire or flames or the feeling of fire on the cover. Okay, this is possibly a bit too easy for me. I have gone for Solitaire by Alice Oseman, and this is the new cover that has been released this year. I really love that they're re-releasing all of Alice Oseman's work with, well, at least I hope they're going to continue to release all of her work with these new illustrated covers where she has done the drawings on them. So Solitaire is a YA contemporary, and I have the Waterstones edition with these beautiful like flame sprayed edges here. And it's a hardback. I'm really excited. I love Alice Oseman's writing. I have read the Heartstopper novels and I have read Loveless, and I really want to continue to read all of her work. I loved Loveless so much. I think she's so good at writing healthy relationships and confronting all these difficult questions. She wrote this when she was quite young, and she has gone back and gone through the book and kind of edited it and kind of brought it up more to her level of writing now, which sounds really exciting to me. She does also specify this is a lot darker than Heartstopper. So I'm expecting a lot of kind of mental health representation and things in this book. This is about Tori, who I think is awesome. She's Charlie's older sister. So yeah, I'm very keen to read this one. So there we go, that's our first book. I'm doing my rolls from sitting down on the floor because it just feels much easier. So we're still on the floor level. So I'm just using the 1 dice, and we've got 6 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have yellow. So for this we have genre roll. So I have got 3 different genres I've selected here. I have chosen crime/mystery. I have chosen sci-fi, and I have chosen contemporary. I didn't choose fantasy because I read that all the time. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. So crime/mystery is going to be dices number 1 and 2. Sci-fi is going to be numbers 3 and 4, and contemporary is going to be 5 and 6. So let's see what happens. Okay, and this is a 2. So it's crime/mystery. Now, my problem with being indecisive, I can't decide which one to go for. I do fancy doing a lot more rereads. I have not read A Brother Cadfael by Ellis Peters for a really long time, and I really love those books. So this is The Leper of St. Giles, a medieval whodunit, and I can't remember what happens in this one. I remember enjoying some characters. I remember enjoying Brother Cadfael and his way of dealing with things. But there's an arranged marriage between a lord sort of and a young girl. So there's a big age gap difference. And this is all happening at the Abbey. And then there is a murder and people are suspected. And Brother Cadfael kind of goes on the case to kind of get to the bottom and find out who actually did the murder. So it's also very small, which is like, it's quite a nice palette cleanser if I'm feeling a little bit bogged down. But I've had this book for a really long time. This is Mrs. Mohr Goes Missing by Maila Seismikova. And that is a pen name for 2, I don't know if they're husbands. Anyway, it's two authors who have gone, I don't know if they're in a relationship or not, I can't remember. They're either really good friends or they're in a relationship. And this is their novel. It's also a historical fiction mystery. So it's set in Krakow in Poland in 1893. Desperate to relieve her boredom and improve her social standing, Zofia Nutska, apologies, decides to organise a charity raffle in a bid to recruit the patronage of elderly aristocrat ladies, and she visits Hensel House, a retirement home run by nuns. But when 2 of the residents are found dead, Zoifia discovers her real talents lie in solving crimes. This actually sounds really, really good. I haven't read the back of it for a long time. I knew it sounded good. This is one of the books I got in my shelter through Shelterbox. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the one I haven't read yet. I might just put them both in the pile because I can't make a decision. I'm just going to put them both in the pile. Anyway, there we go. So there's going to be 7 books in the pile because I can't decide. And the point is it's a pile of possibilities, so it should be what do I feel like reaching for. At that moment, I have another book to throw in there. I've already done so much and I'm only on number 2. I'm sorry, everyone. And I keep forgetting I'm rolling from the floor and pausing it. Okay, still 1 dice. Roll number 3. Let's go. Okay, and it is a 5. So let's move. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! We have a worrying worm. Okay, let's see what my challenge is going to be. I've got my 3 cards. I don't know what they are. I'm going to shuffle them. One of them's the One Ring. Let's see what we get. I'm choosing this one, and it is not the One Ring. Okay, the title of the book must start with the letter we don't know. So I need to go grab a letter from a bag of mystery. I'm filming upstairs. I can't be bothered to go downstairs. So I have got foam letters from the bathroom. There might also be numbers in here as well, just to add that extra level of fun. So I'm going for this. It's a Z. Z! What on earth am I going to find? It begins with a flipping Z. Okay, I might be here some time and I may have to abandon this one or go and find inspiration from a library. Funnily enough, I don't have any books that begin with Z, and I don't have any books that begin with the something Z. And the whole point of this is for me to make a pile of possibilities, so I'm not going to search the library for books beginning with Z. So I'm going to pick another letter. Be better. T. Okay, T we can work with. Okay, I've chosen a book that begins with T and not the something. And I've chosen a book that I'm not sure about. It's one of my shelter box books again. This is Typhoon by Kwazia Shaharaz. And I'm not sure about it because I don't think it's my kind of story. I love the cover. I think the cover is gorgeous. We've got a woman with a hijab and a swirling skirt, and the skirt kind of just goes across and it's on this beautiful blue. And this tells the story of 3 women and how their lives are all kind of caught up in this fate together. But I'll read you the back of it. Typhoon is a tragic tale of 3 young women, each one demonized by her past. Naghamana, a glamorous stranger from the city, Chowdharani Kaniz, the village land baron, and Gulshan, the innocent wife. One was raped in her youth, another is caught in the arms of another woman's husband, the third woman's world fell apart when she lost her husband and her mother vowed revenge. For all 3 women, there is no escape from what fate has in store. A compelling family saga of deceit, envy, and jealousy. Which doesn't sound like my kind of thing, but I want to give it a whirl because I got it from Shelterbox, and the reason I like to do that is because it challenges me to read different things. So I may end up trying and then just DNFing if I don't get on with it. But I'm going to add it to the pile. Okie dokie, roll number 4, and I've remembered not to pause, and we are on 2 dice. So I've got an orange and a blue now. They're both going in, and we have got a 5 and a 4, which is 9. So 9, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we are on green. So here is the Journey-a-thon bingo board, and what I'm going to be choosing from is the 4 different path prompts. So that's the magic, earth, sky, or water. So I have the little cards here, and I am picking this one, which is the magic path. So for this, I just shut the book, which was not clever. So either a book with a mode of transport on the cover, something with something crazy or unusual on the cover, or a book with a magical artifact. And I have gone for a book with a mode of transport on the cover. I have got Secrets of the Stars by Maria Kuznia, and this is a ship on the front of the cover there. So this is the second book in the Ship of Shadows duology, which I really enjoyed, read quite a long time ago now, and I'm very keen to pick up this one. It's a piratey, it's female pirates, they're on an adventure, and I think it's a perfect one as the days are getting warmer. 2 more rolls to go. So roll number 5 is 5 and a 5, so we've got 10. Okay, so here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it is blue again. And this is another theme card. So we've got 2 in the theme card now. Okay, picking another theme card. I am going to choose, I don't know if I put the one back that I already chose, or if I pull it out again, I will just take it back off, and I'm choosing this one, which is Buildings. So any book with buildings or kind of an urban vibe on the cover. And I have gone with a graphic novel. So this is The Prince of Denmark Street, WC2, by Kev F. Sutherland. This is a graphic reimagining of Hamlet by Macbeth? No, Hamlet by William Shakespeare. So this is a graphic novel that has been, so it's using the story of Hamlet. So we've got a whole cast of characters. It's got like an 80s punk band vibe with sort of like the lead singer being Hamlet. So I'm looking forward to looking at this one. So that's another possibility. The final roll is, and we have got a 6 and a 2, which you can see there. So that is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was close. 8. It's another blue. So blue again means we are using the We're All Mad Here card. And the We're All Mad Here card is Drink Me. So Drink Me is a game where I have got 4 teacups. And in those teacups, I'm putting 4 books. Whoop, lost one. So I'm not going to look at what number I'm putting in what cup. I'm just going to shuffle them around and put in the numbers randomly and turn them over and then choose a cup. And then I will tell you what the different numbers are in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in this teacup and turn it over. So I'm doing this. I'm looking at the camera and staring at you, which means I'm not staring at the cups or the paper here. That one's turned over, that one's turned over. These 2 aren't, so they get paper and then we turn them over. I think the paper's still in them. I've made this so much more complicated than it needs to be. There we go. Right, okay. So let's shuffle some cups around. Okay, so there we go. Little cups all in a row there. I've no idea what numbers are underneath them. So I have 2 books that I'm excited to read and 2 books that are going to be challenging to read. So book number 1, which is exciting for me to read, is Frontier by Grace Curtis. This is a sci-fi. It says love, loss and laser guns. I think this sounds really exciting. So I've been wanting to read this one for quite a while. So this is book number 1. Book number 2 is the other one I'm really excited to read. I don't understand why I haven't picked it up yet. This is The Undertakers by Nicole Glover. It is the 2nd book in the Magic and Murder series. I loved the conductors. It is, pardon me, historical fiction, fantasy, murder, mystery. So exciting. And I loved the characters. Okay, the next one is challenging for me. I do really want to read it. It's A People's History of Heaven by Mathangi Subramanian. This is set in, I think it's set in the slums of India, I think. Yeah, Bangalore slum of heaven. There are 5 girls. It's got a mixture of Muslim, Christian, Hindu, gay and straight characters in here. And I think where they live, the slums are kind of like under threat of being demolished. I think this book is going to make me cry a lot, so that's why it'll be a challenge. And the final book I have that will be a challenge is Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. And I think this book is just going to be a book that makes me think. What is it? It says an epic ode to the future and the past. So I think it's like a dystopia sci-fi book that explores possibly difficult topics. I don't know any more about that. I just heard, when I picked it up, I'd heard really good things about it. So there we go. Those are the books. So we have 1, Frontier, 2, The Conductors. Turn the book spine around. 3, A People's History of Heaven, and 4, Riot Baby. Okay. Picking a cup. I'm going to pick yellow because I want the sun to come out. So in yellow, it's an orange, and it is book number 3. That is A People's History of Heaven. So there we go. That is my final book. Got a few challenging books on here, and I've got 3 shelter box books on here. So I feel I need to read a shelter box book in the month of June. So here we go. This is my pile of possibilities to choose from. And there is only 1 fantasy and only 1 middle grade. So that's interesting. So I have Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I can't decide between Mrs. Mohr Goes Missing by Myla Shizmiketskoa, Ellis Peters' The Leper of St. Giles, Kyra Shabraz Typhoon, Secrets of the Stars by Maria Kuznia, The Prince of Denmark Street by Kev F. Sutherland, and A People's History of Heaven by Mathangi Subramanian. Okay, there we go. So this is my pile of possibility. So one of these I will add to my TBR in June, possibly 2. We'll see how we go. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you are planning to read in June, and let me know any thoughts about any of the books that I have spoken of in here. You know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.